Good to go?
How many of us are ready? There's 16 of us. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
there. I was wondering how many of us are ready to
yeah,
go.
exactly. I think everybody's ready. So let's jump ahead here. I wanted to spend a little bit of time in Google Classroom. Hopefully, this is something you guys use. I don't know. I've been using it so long. It just seems so dead simple to me at this point that it's one of those things where, when a new teacher doesn't know it, I literally sit down with them for 5 minutes, show them a couple of things, and then they run with it, and then they learn the rest of the details. So my understanding is that you guys use this already, so it's probably for the most part dead simple to you too. I don't know. Give me some feedback here. Do you guys want me to go from start to finish? Treat it like you guys don't know it, or should I just show you some of the more advanced things? So, what do you guys think?
I use it. So I don't know for the rest. Maybe you could start with the advanced stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do that then. So, um, couple things. Definitely play with the gear. You guys should probably open up your Google Classroom. Um, you should know how to make classes, give them names. That stuff's pretty easy. But you definitely go into this gear in the top right hand corner. I usually don't fill it all in. It might matter to some of you. It's nice that they give you choices here, but um, I always turn this stuff on, like display class code, all that stuff. Um, I don't show deleted items. One thing's for sure is I usually, especially when you're teaching online, this is obviously where the meat goes. I turn off emails. That's probably something I should show you. I haven't shown overall grades to students. I haven't turned that on for you guys. Be aware you can turn that on. Um, you know, Ultimately, this is just a pass fail course, so that grade doesn't really matter. I have put things in, like, usually out of 10, that sort of thing, just to give you a little bit of feedback around how I feel you've put what I've taught you into it, kind of thing. But it is pass fail. Keep that in mind. So I haven't really even made that available. So be aware of what those choices are. The gears matter there. Another one that I've often even missed is if you go to we call it hot dogs. I'm talking about the thing in the top right hand corner there, the hot dogs. Um, it looks like a bun. There's settings at the bottom of that too. A lot of people miss that because it's way there at the bottom. And this is a big deal because of the emails here. Um, I forgot to turn off this emails at the beginning of this course. And the first day, every comment somebody made in the Google Classroom sent me an email. I had like 150 emails. So, um, I don't like when my email box fills up with comments, things like that. That feels like a little ton of work. So I tend to turn that off with my students. So, and that's how you do it. So, um, the I'm almost done my advanced conversation around this. The other thing is when you're in Google Classroom and you create an assignment, you guys, these should make good sense. Oh, reuse a post. This has been here for years, and I only really recently started using this. It actually really is helpful, especially when you teach a lot of different classes, the same subject, and you forget, you post an assignment for one class, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot to do it for the other class. I know you can click both classes and it'll go to both classes, but if you forget, then use this repost, and you can choose which one you want, and the most recent will come available at the top, right? And then you can decide where you want to repost from. You can click from any class you posted from, and then, oh, which one of these do you want to take and repost, right? And then you can edit it, right? Like create Bitmoji, for example. I'll just choose that one and then say reuse at the bottom right. And then I think you have a chance to edit it again. and then assign, right? So I'm not going to do that now, but you could edit anything. The other really fancy thing that I only really started using recently is I never use check plagiarism, only probably because I'm not an LA teacher. I don't do a lot of things related to writing. Science is a bit of writing, I guess, but LA teachers should definitely use that check plagiarism thing. But I can't speak to it a lot more than that. But this rubric button here, you got a choice to create a rubric, reuse a rubric, and import from sheets. The beauty of this is, often we use very similar rubrics for many different things. And maybe even now that you know about this, create a general rubric kind of that you would use for many different things. Hit create here, and you can only create them with this tool that I'm aware of. And when you create it, you can reuse any rubric you ever create, and you can also save it to reuse later. And that way you can also then import from sheets from any assignment you ever do. You might, over time when you start making these rubrics, knowing you can use them, you can, whenever you have an assignment, you import from sheets or you go get that rubric and pull it in, and you don't have to do that work over again. Like, I'm a big believer in not doing work over again. I'm assuming you guys use rubrics. Give me some feedback if that's not the case, if I need to explain what they are. Create a rubric, essentially. It looks like this.
No, I've never used rubric before. I mean,
Never?
I only just create maybe a
Okay.
class or send something to the class, or we have our meetings, and that is basically it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
so in here, like a class rubric, and maybe I don't have it to quickly throw up here, but even if you just Googled rubrics, it's really just a table, right, with numbers. Here we go. Let's just see some images. They could be anything. Usually it looks a lot like a table, right? Let me share this screen with you. And there's a bazillion of them out there, right? Let's look at this one a little bit bigger. Maybe I can pull this one up. Oh no, that didn't work.
Writing's not that easy, but
That did
Grammarly
not
can
work.
help.
Let's look at this one here. Did I lose the sharing? Yes, I did. Sorry about that. I'll go entire screen this time. Right, rubrics are just something to make it simple for you to be able to grade complex things. Essentially, that's what they're designed to do. So some people have where the scoring's down the bottom. Usually I have the scoring across the top. You just photocopy this, right? And you're basically saying, oh, a 4 looks like this in your narrative writing. This table here, I wish I could make this a little bit larger. Maybe I can. Maybe there's a button. Nope, that didn't work. Essentially, anyway, you get the idea. Hopefully, let's build one, right? So let's build one that's maybe like writing, and you can get as detailed as you want, right? So that, let's say this is, your topic paragraph. Let's say I'm not a LA teacher, but this is going to be about your topic paragraph, right? And you could write a whole description thing about what you care about as a teacher. Make it say, it could be, you can even start at 0 if you want to, and call this level, poor, poor work or something. And then you can describe what poor work is, right? So that they really understand what you mean by that. And then it goes up by level. A 1 would be, maybe it's basic work, right? And then you would describe what basic work looks like, right? And then here you'd go, now you're starting to get better scores. Now this is starting to be satisfactory work, right? And then describe what satisfactory work is. The beauty of this, if you do a decent job of this the first time around, you can save it and then reuse it over and over again, right? Year over year, assignment over assignment, but you build it however you want or how many levels you want, right? And then this might start becoming, what would be a good word for the next level? You know, good work, perhaps, right? And then you might even go all the way up to, and you build it however you want it. This might be, excellent, excellent work, right? And then describe what that is. And that's just a topic sentence. And then you'd add a criteria, right? And then this would be maybe the first paragraph of your, or the body. Maybe that's be the better way. The body is it's called body paragraphs because you might have many of them, right? And then you do the same thing. You build it out, right? I want 0, and then you probably use similar vernacular, right? Poor work, right? And then describe it so that they understand what poor work is, and then use the same terminology, right? And then you might even add and then go all the way up to 4 again. And then here you'd be like a closing or closing paragraph. You sum up, right? And then you do the same thing. You build that up and you go, well, this is poor work, right? And then describe it and so on. And then you hit save when you're done. And I know I'm kind of doing this fast. And then when I'm actually assigning this, let's just call this test. Thing for you to do here. Okay, I hope I'm not going too fast through this. Okay, I'm definitely building on the idea that most of you have a good idea of what a rubric is. And then you hit assign. And from the teaching perspective, on the back end of this, right here, if I go into this, view assignment, thank you, Ingrid, for being my volunteer. See how my rubric appears here now? I did a really good job of doing the topic paragraph there. So I have all 5 of my choices. 4 is the highest mark. That's excellent work, right? 3 is good work. 2 is satisfactory. 1 is basic. And then 0 is poor, right? And of course, when in rubrics, you always follow the same. You should build out, this part to be, if you want it to be out of 4, then build this out to be out of 4. Closing paragraph, build this out to be out of 4. And then all you're doing is clicking, right, what their score is, and it fills it in, and then you hit submit, and off you go, right? It saves you a ton of time, right? Which is the beauty of this, okay? And I use this a lot, and I recommend you guys play with it too. It should save you guys time too. And then you go one student to the next and see their assignments really quickly, and then you can just fill in their rubric really fast, right? And then just keep going, right? As fast as you can read their work and go through their work, you're grading, if that makes sense, okay? All right, questions? Does that make good sense for everyone? All right. I'm assuming if there's no questions that you get it.
I would like you to go over it again, please.
Sure, absolutely. Let's go back to instructions. I'll go edit. Okay, so here's the rubric. I can go right back in here. I think I can edit on the top right-hand corner here. I can hit edit, right? And then here's all the criteria I had. I just didn't build it up all the way. So then here I might add another one, right? This would be now my 2. And please try this yourself right now, okay? So this would be a basic, I think that was my convention, basic work. I'm not putting in the description. You should describe what basic work looks like, right? You should. Does that make sense? And then 2 might be satisfactory, right? And hit the plus.
Yes, Henry.
Yes, go ahead, Clifton.
Where are you working? In Google Classroom or on Google Forms?
No, I am in Google Classroom. You want me to start at the beginning there again?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Rubrics in Google Classroom. I'm about that.
Yeah, that didn't even.
But you looking at forms.
Yes, yes, I am. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm literally, in Google Classroom here, right? And I'm just showing you guys how to do this rubric thing. But you have to set this up. It might not even let me. You usually set this up right at the beginning. I don't often go in and edit a rubric in the midst of this and go in and out, right? Um, so from here, let's see if I can edit it. It lets me edit it, but will it let me edit it, right? Okay, so here it is. It's always that, snowman. You hit edit, right? It didn't let me save my progress there. I'm not sure why. It's giving me an error, right? And you just build out, um, your rubric here. Keep in mind, you're always going to, whenever you do a good job of this, it'll save it and you can build it back again, right? And then just pull it in every single time, right? But maybe it'll save it this time, hopefully. So this was going to be good work. And then the fourth one was going to be, this was going to be excellent work. Okay. And closing paragraph, should probably do the same thing. This is going to be basic. Yep.
Can I share my screen, please?
Sure, absolutely. Please do.
Okay, so I go to my class. And then I find a snowman.
Are you in my class? Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I neglected to do this, but guys, make your own class if you don't have one. You're going to have to go into your own class. You need to be the teacher of it. I didn't start explaining that. So yeah, go to a room that you created. No, that's even one I created. So just go at the very beginning. Thank you. Go to the hot dogs there. At least I call it the
Hot
hot
dog?
dogs. The very far left.
The
Yeah, it looks
three
like a hot
line?
dog. There, and go very top classes. Yeah, hit classes there. And then now hit you have two classes in there that you created, right? Oh no, that's other people.
That is our class.
Okay.
My class.
But did you create that class or did somebody invite you to it?
Somebody did.
Are you,
We can
are you,
leave it.
Ministry
We can
created
leave
it.
it. We
oh,
can
okay.
leave it.
You can do one of two things. Feel free to jump in there, hit accept, and then start working in there, or you can create your own. Yeah, hit the plus and create class. Call it test if you want to. Doesn't matter what you call it, right? And create. Actually, this is better that we do this with you than me. Yep, go create. You have to be the teacher in the class to be able to do what I'm talking about. Okay?
Yeah.
And then just go to the classwork tab at the top there and create. You'll have to create an assignment. Yeah, assignment. All right. And then you can just call it practice, whatever you want. Give it a title, practice. And then the rubric, as soon as you put in a title, the rubric appears in the bottom right. Do you see that there?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, click on there, create rubric, and you're up and running. So,
Oh.
what's your first criteria that you want for your rubric?
Mm,
Notice it is naming the rubric at the top, like whatever you called the assignment is kind of what it names the rubric as well, if that makes sense.
oh, okay.
Right? So
Okay.
in the future, when you're doing this, whatever the purpose of your rubric is, name the assignment that, and then that will also be the name of the rubric, I think. And then you throw the criteria in there, think about what you teach and what you would use a rubric for. You know, I usually have like quality of work ones, like you know, you know, what's the quality of the presentation? What is the quality? Did you use a good speaking voice? Did you, include enough content, or is the quality of the content, what level of that? You decide what your criteria is, right? So depends on what you're marking here. Yeah, good coloring. Yeah, if you're in the younger grades, you know, good coloring. Did you trace the outline of the, you make a description of what it's about, and then you start putting the points value and what describing the point value. So you're essentially just building a rubric. Um, okay.
Okay.
And if you haven't built many rubrics before, you could, if you even just Googled that some other time in Google and say, how to build a rubric, and maybe even put in for the purpose of what you want, like how to build a rubric to assess a paragraph writing, or to assess coloring, or you name it. Remember that file type .doc or :doc? If you want to find a million
Yeah.
rubrics, do that. Like, oh my goodness. There's about 1 billion people online who have posted their rubrics online. So if you have an idea for you're like, what's a good rubric out there for whatever you're teaching, somebody has created it already, and you could just copy theirs. Okay, is this making good sense? Is everybody keeping up with us here?
Yes, I'm in. I'm
Okay,
all.
everybody else doing good here?
Okay, I'm gonna start presenting now.
Sure, I'll start presenting.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Just to kind of finish building this out here, so hopefully it saves this time. I think I only had 4 criteria. Yeah, I did. So let's hope it saves. It's an error. So there you go. I would certainly recommend that maybe if I turn off scoring, maybe it'll save then. Please save. No, it doesn't save. So don't do what I did. Don't save it, leave, come back and edit it. Just build the whole thing, hit save, and you should not have an issue. What I want to show you is that once you've made one of these, okay, I'm going to go and build another one. Now that I've built one, I should be able to create an assignment, and then rubric, give it a name, another test, nothing to do here. So hopefully nobody, there you go, my rubric appears. Now I should be able to reuse rubric. And now notice my rubrics that I have here, nothing to do here. Whatever the name of the assignment was that you used, what you used that rubric in and where you created it, you can now pull it back. So name the assignment paragraph writing, or presentation skills, or whatever you want it to be. Then it'll name it that, so it'll be easy for you to recognize later on those rubrics and pull it back in, right? And so right away it pulls in that rubric I just created, and then you're reusing them, okay? The other thing that most people don't notice is, now that I'm in my rubric here, notice this button here that says export to sheets, okay? As soon as it exports to sheets, is everybody with me? I'm not trying to go too fast. Don't want people to lose anybody. It's this button here. When you're in the rubric, go to the snowman and then export to sheets. It will create a Google Sheet and notice it exported it, told me it exported it. So now if I go to my Google Drive, I should be able to find this Google Sheet somewhere. And I recommend finding where it is. finding where it is. Where is it? It's usually going to dump it right in the main thing here. Maybe it's this one. Nope, I don't think that's that. Nope, that's my course evaluation. Nope, that's not it. Where did it go? It's going to be
Maybe
a
arrange it by time.
Sorry?
I was saying, is there any filter also that you could do it by time? If you just do it, then it should be.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. What I want is a type. I want it to be a sheet. I only want to find sheets. Okay, so here it is. Another test, right? And then I'm going to right click on this and go show file location. I can't tell you how often I use that little trick when I'm looking for things, because it's really important to organize your drive, and some things get dumped in there and you don't know where it is. So do a search for it and then show file location. Okay, in Classroom, and maybe this is important to explain too, everything that happens in your Google Classroom essentially is done in a folder called Classroom in your Google Drive. So every assignment your students do will be in here populating this folder. And every time you create an assignment, it creates a folder in there. And clearly we're building this in Google Classroom, so it makes good sense that it's in the Classroom folder. As soon as I made a rubric, it created a folder called Rubric Exports, and then inside there is my rubric. And it is a Google Sheet. I haven't spent time in Google Sheets with you guys a whole lot, but don't change anything in here. I'm just opening it to show it to you. But if you don't change anything and leave it, then you can now go into your Google Drive from Google Classroom, and you can always import. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here for a second. So if I got rid of this and deleted my rubric, I could go here and go import from Sheets. That's where that third choice comes in, right? And now that I know where my rubrics are, I just click on that, and then it says where is it in Drive, and then you may have to go into your Drive and actually find it now that you know that it's in Classroom, and then Rubric Exports, and then all of your sheets will be here, every one you create, so you can always go and get them again and pull up what you need, and then it comes in and you're good to go. So that's one of my favorite new skills in Google Classroom that I now
Could you
use.
read that, please?
Sure. So whenever you're in here, because we exported, like you have to build them in here too, right? So once you've built them and then save them and export them to Google Sheets, you can always find them. I definitely like the export to Google Sheets because my favorite ones there are the ones that I want. So so you can always import from Sheets, and but you have to export them to Sheets too. Keep that in mind. You know, so you just go and find the one you like. Of course, you're going to name that rubric what it is grading, right? If it's grading, always name the assignment what you're grading. You know, like I'm grading paragraphs or I'm grading a presentation, whatever it is. When you name that assignment, that will be the name of the rubric. That way it's easier to find later. And then you can attach it to that Google Sheet or that Google Classroom assignment, if that makes sense. Trying not to go too fast. Does that make sense, Clifton? Is that good?
Sure. I haven't reached that far. So when I need to retrieve a copy of the rubric, I need to go to what is it, export rubric, a rubric export.
Yeah, the first time you create your rubric that you want to keep long term, export it to Sheets.
Okay.
Yes. And then it'll always be available.
Okay.
And the beauty of this too, actually, once you export it to Sheets, you could share it with each other, right? If somebody's saying to you, hey, I loved your rubric, you know, or whatever, look at the new rubric I made, or you have a bunch of LA teachers or teachers that teach what you teach. You do a good job of building one of these, and then you export it to Sheets, and then as soon as it's an assignment or a document in your Google Drive, you can share it with them, and then they can import it too, right? And then it's not stuck in Google Classroom, if you know what I mean. Okay, so it's a nice feature to be able to do. The last thing I'll probably say here is, you know, the grading program here. I actually do not use this extensively, you know, but I do use it. I don't want to do this. Definitely notice the gear. You know, you definitely have choices here about showing grades and, you know, showing deleted items and posting and things like this. You know, just read that through and play with it a little bit. But one thing that I do use here a fair bit is this, you know, where is it? It's the download. Download everything as into a Google Sheet. I wonder where that choice is. I know you can do it within every assignment. I'm just wondering if you could do it to the entire grade book. That I don't know how to do this into an entire grade book, but let's say I went into this assignment here. Okay. Notice there's inside each assignment, there's a gear here, and it allows you to copy all grades to Google Sheets, right? If you want to, you know, manipulate the grades at all, or for me, we have a separate program that go into grades. We call it Power School. Do you guys have a separate program that you have to put your grades into? Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emmys.
Yeah, so then you guys might use this too. Like I would, you know, copy all grades to Google Sheets, for example, and then it automatically populates a Google Sheet, and then because our program, you know, and it basically builds it out for you. Notice how it did a good job. It put all the assignments in there. You're just seeing all the ones I've graded already. It builds it all out for you in a Google Sheet, and then you can manipulate the data with the formulas and things like that. And I do that kind of stuff a lot. But the nice thing is once you have a bunch of assignments here, in our program, there's what's the program you guys use?
We use Emis.
Emmys we're using.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one. The only reason I ask is because for years I've been going in our program and just
management software.
Sorry, say again, Clifton.
Education management software.
Right. Yeah, and ours is called Power School. For years and years and years, for every student, I literally had to write in, you know, 1 mark, enter. Now 1 mark, enter, 1 mark, and it was like mind-numbingly boring, right? Entering all these grades all the time. And I just discovered at the beginning of this year that my Power School program, when you're having to create an assignment, you can download a Microsoft Excel file, which is also kind of like Google Sheets, right? Similar to this, right? And so as soon as I have my marks figured out in Sheets here, I just copy the whole line like this. Copy the whole line, right? Control C, and then I go to Excel, Control Paste, and then I go into my program and I upload all the grades, right? So it makes it like 100 times faster to do it that way. So Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel, you can copy and paste back and forth. So that's a huge time saver for me. I do everything that way now just to save time. And that's probably the big stuff. That's just, yeah, everything else is just little small stuff when it comes into Google Classroom. Now that I've been using it so long, there's also plenty of things that annoy me. I think they should fix some things, but it's free, right? It's free. It doesn't cost us anything, so how can I complain, right? The other thing is is I do like the feature that you should set it up so that your parents, get your guardians in here, so that your parents get notified and updated about kids. And I think parents do need education around how to do that. For example, when some kids are terrible at hitting submit, and then they don't have their work, and then they don't get a grade, right, or they get a 0 or whatever. But that's an ongoing issue. But that's their learning issue, not necessarily mine. When the guardians get emailed saying, "Oh, they're missing 15 assignments," well, if mom and dad are not going to get on their kid, why should I, right? Like, but half the time, I'm sure the parents have no idea what it even means. Am I talking to myself, or is this making sense? Are there similar issues you guys have?
Yeah,
No,
so
that's
you get the parents in there.
Yeah, get the parents in there. You might want to, and I'm considering doing this too, where I'm going to make a video of myself in a Google Meet without anyone in it. I'll just make a video where I'm showing my screen and explaining how parents should be using these tools, and then they're better informed, and then hopefully they can hold their own kids accountable.
Would you be able to use some screenshot for this?
You know what? I would probably use Google Meet for this, only because you can record in a Google Meet like I am now.
Yes,
But
yeah.
it's an unlimited video in a Google Meet. Austin's
All
screenshot
right.
is a 5-minute video, right?
Yes, yes.
You can,
Okay.
unless you want to pay for more, but I don't pay for anything if I can get away with it. So
So,
my school is not going to pay for very many things. So you have to really pick and choose what you want. So those are probably some of the bigs in regards to Google Classroom. There's a lot of cool things about it. That is, I remember still the day that Google Classroom was in beta, and they showed it to me, and I'm like, oh, finally somebody has made this easier, and it's a wonderful tool. But it is just a tool, and students, when they use it poorly, they do poorly. That's just the reality. Anyway, so you have to do some teaching around how to use it. And personally, my experience is the kids who want to learn and do well, they pick it up pretty fast and they do just fine. The kids who don't want to learn and don't even want to do their work, well, they just continue to not do well, right? But it's their life, their education. It's, my often saying in my classroom is, if God called you to be a ditch digger, then who am I? You'd have to step down to be president, right? So who cares? It's your life, right? Anyway, you just love them, care for them, encourage them, tell them good stories about what life should look like, and hopefully they buy in, right? If they don't, God will bring them, hopefully awaken them some point, right? Anyway, so that's Google Classroom. Any other questions about Google Classroom that I should explain or help you guys with? All right, I will leave it then. Okay. So I'll remind you guys, there is a website here. If you click this link here, Google has created a website here for you guys where, they show you how to do all the little details and whatnot. And there's only a bazillion people out there who have a video that explains how to do this. So that would probably be better use of your time. And of course, if you ever wanted to become a Google educator, level 1, you'd have to be able to do all these things. Let's talk about Seesaw. I actually don't use it. I spend a little bit of time there playing. I'm like, man, if I was an elementary teacher, I would love Seesaw. But I'm not an elementary teacher. I think Seesaw is a big rabbit hole of possibilities. You could spend a million years in there and do amazing lessons, and it's really, really cool, to be honest. And if you use it, good on you. But I definitely think you have to balance your time. So if you are in, and I know many of you are, if you are in, K to 6 somewhere, you probably want to play in Seesaw. Okay. Does any of you use Seesaw?
I don't.
No. Does anybody use Seesaw?
I
No.
have never heard of it.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll just, and again, I'm not an expert in it. I just know about it. I've only played in there for probably 10 minutes. Um, Notice sign up is free. I think there is a like a paid version too. So I'm not entirely sure what the limits are, to be honest. So be aware there is something to pay for. But when you do sign up, um, and if you sign up for free, you can do quite a few things for free. Um, you'd say you're a teacher. I'm not signed up in this ministry at all. I am in my other one, and this has been a little while ago. Since Feel free to sign up right now if you want. Keep forgetting that I need to spell my name wrong when I'm using in your ministry. Is that the DM? Is that what it is? I hope that's what it is. Make up something. All right. Right. Oh, teacher sign up with Google. I should have just done that. Why didn't I just do that? That'd be way faster. There we go. That's what I want to do. Say, I never save passwords. Name your class. The best class ever. Okay. Notice it does go up to 12. There's certainly uses for it beyond grade 7, that's for sure. And then it's basically like an online classroom environment. Kids can answer questions with video. It's very interactive. And it's easy for kids to use. You can post student work, assign activities, send announcements. So it kind of could replace Google Classroom. If you really started to like this, then you might even say, Google Classroom's too limiting, right? So, if I was an elementary teacher, I would definitely get to know Seesaw. I'd probably go to YouTube and say, watch some videos on Seesaw and how other teachers are using it. Again, I'm not an expert because I've only spent about 10 minutes in here. Um, you know, but some of the things I've seen, you can definitely bring in some activities from what other people are doing, which is always a really nice feature to be able to pull in other teachers' work. You can follow other teachers who use it and follow their assignments, which is really helpful. And then you're just editing their stuff. A lot of neat ideas here. There's definitely overlap between Seesaw and Google. But again, I'm not an expert here. I was actually hoping one of you'd say, oh, I use Seesaw all the time. And then I'd give you the mic and have you guys jump on here and talk about it. What time is it? It's 8, 9, 10. So we have another half an hour. So that's my little plug here for Seesaw. Again, I'm not an expert on it, but if you want to have a lot more flexibility than Google Classroom, Seesaw will do it. But again, the free version will have limitations somewhere, and I'm not sure what the limitations are. Okay. So that's my little plug there. I really only have a half an hour before I'm going to give you a break. So I kind of want to use that time for a couple of other plugs here. I know I heard you guys talking about Ed Puzzle. I actually really like Ed Puzzle. If you've never heard of it, it basically allows you to pull in a YouTube video and maybe even make your own video. And like I do plenty of like presentations like this about what I'm teaching in my class. I could put it on my YouTube channel and then bring it into Ed Puzzle. They're always making this better. And then put questions into the video that the students have to answer. And then I can actually use it as a quiz or an assignment, that sort of thing. Again, I haven't used it extensively. It's a rabbit hole. The reason why, when I say rabbit hole, I'm saying it's something you could spend 1,000,000 hours on and get divorced over. So, I use some of these things sparingly just because of time. some of you are probably arguing in the back of your head, Mr. Schellenberg, Mr. Henry, you are spending way too much time already. And you're probably right. So that's probably why there's plenty of things I don't spend time on, because I'm already spending too much time. I'm really hoping to use my time better this year. This has, obviously been a hard year for all of us. And but I would definitely recommend Edpuzzle. I'm not an expert in Edpuzzle again, but it's one of the areas I'm planning on spending time. Okay, so a little plug for that. I spend a lot more time with this option where I'm creating learning environments for students with Google Slides. I'm actually going to be building, because I've now extensively made HyperDocs with Google Docs, my next exploration is actually going to be choice boards in Google Slides. I'm going to be spending a fair bit of time there creating learning, chunking learning for kids in math in particular. Like how to do a fraction. Know this skill, watch this video, do this assignment, right? In slides. And then as soon as you know how to do that, then do this test for me in Google Forms, right? Self-marking test. Then, chunk the next piece. Now you need to know how to do equivalent fractions. Watch this video, do this assignment, and I'll give them a choice board where it literally walks them through all of that in a Google slide. I'm planning on spending a fair bit of time, free time, when I have it, building that in here and trying to incorporate Edpuzzles. So that said, that's my plug there for that one. I put this out here for you guys. Google Sheets, if you guys don't know Google Sheets, you should watch these videos, right? I grabbed a couple of quick videos on how teachers use Google Sheets. If you've never used them before, they can make your life a lot easier. I now use, like there's formulas. I use, what is it? The lookup function all the time. And it makes, I figured out lookup this year, and it makes your life a lot easier. But that's kind of like more advanced stuff. Do you guys want me to spend a little bit of time on the basics of that? Yes, no? Anyway, I say this still in tongue-in-cheek here, when your computer is trying to do a Google Sheet, like it can be, if you don't know it, it can be really painful too. Sorry, jump in. Clifton, were you going to say something?
I was saying maybe you could, for those who have never used it, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Because now they have forms, they have to create forms, and then they have to go to find the answers in sheets.
Yeah, exactly. If you have, I wonder, maybe, should I show you guys what I do? Maybe real quick, if I can open up my ministries.
Give us a brief introduction, man.
Yeah, give you a brief one. Okay, let's see. It's better if I show you in my ministry, because if I could go to my other account here, then I could show you one I've already built, right? And that will save us time. We don't have a lot of time. Because I hopefully it does this well. Okay, good. Because I use Google Sheets extensively, because I use Google Forms and self-marking quizzes, I use them a lot. Because of that, you end up going into Sheets a lot. So I just need to dive into science. That's probably where I do this a lot more than math. You guys are looking at my rabbit hole right now. Let's say Unit 5 here. And notice I have a lot of other teachers' folders here. They share things with me all the time. I think it's in here. Okay, so here's an example. here, this is all by topic, right? This is a Google form for this topic. This topic has a Google slide that teaches all the information on that topic. And then I have an assignment that is a Google form, right? Where they answer questions about that topic, right? And then as soon as they finish, doing that form, it essentially can turn into a Google Sheet, right? And you can get all the Google Forms to populate one Google Sheet, okay? And then as soon as and maybe I'm scaring you now. Note I'm not trying to scare anybody or go too fast or anything like that, but eventually you go, what do I need to learn to save time? Well, if you learn how to use Google Sheets, you can certainly save yourself a lot of time. So the first Google form will populate this tab. This is every student and their answers to those questions, right? And then for topic 2 for me, there should be one here that says 2. Not sure where it is right now. There's a 2, and then this one's the 3, right? These are all of their answers. And then I create another tab at the bottom. So this becomes my entire Unit 5 Google Earth, or sorry, not Google Earth, but Earth is the unit. And then I have, all of the information from those tabs pulled into here, right? And this is the lookup tool. Like, this is the function. Notice it, maybe you can't see it there. It's equal to VLOOKUP. And then I put in a formula. And these are the names of my students. In Google Forms, they come in at random whenever they finish them. And then this is my class list, right, of all the students I'm teaching. And then I use my VLOOKUP tool. Maybe I'm doing this too fast, but you put in the form of VLOOKUP and it looks for this student's email in this list over here, and then it goes and grabs their mark, right, and puts it here. So that was the score. If I actually went through here and looked, I don't see where they are right now because I'm not as good of a looker. There it is, right there. And there's their score, and then it pulls their score and puts it here. And then this one here, it literally is this one down here, right? So this is topic 2, and it does the same thing. This is their scores, and then I use a formula to find for me what their score is. If it's NA, that student just didn't do the assignment. They're not in that list, right? And then I get all the topics to populate from these tabs into this one tab. And I might be blowing your mind, but point being, and I don't have time to really dive into this rabbit hole, but as soon as you start using Google Forms, then you can start doing stuff like this, because you can export every Google form as an Excel spreadsheet here. You can even do graphing. Like, I didn't finish building this out, but for example, I could highlight, this would be the student. I need to have a name up here, and I would have to have this is topic 1, and you can start graphing this stuff out, topic 2, okay? You can even start doing graphs, right? If this is all my student data here, you hit explore, and then it'll graph that data for you in whatever form you want. And so it's a lot of good analysis that you can do here about how students are doing. And this is, again, it might not be what you're ready for at this point, but there's a whole world of help here if you learn how to use Google Sheets. And I would just say to you that perhaps the place to start would really just to be start using self-grading quizzes. That will already save you a bunch of time. And once you're ready for it, start watching videos that are based on teachers, and have these videos go, well, how do they use Google Sheets to help them do their learning? And when you're ready for it, it'll make sense, right? So, but for now, just start using self-grading quizzes, because that seems where everybody's at. But Google Sheets connect with them directly. Did that help? Big rabbit hole, right? Anyway,
Yep.
I'm not trying to scare you. Point being is just start using Google quizzes, and then eventually you'll be ready for the next step. And there's a lot of ways for it to help you, but I can't explain it now because there's too many pieces that you probably have never experienced before or don't know what I'm talking about yet. Okay, but there's a lot of possibilities there. Okay, and we really only have 20 minutes before our break. I also threw out a bunch of things here for you, things that I wanted to spend time on that I didn't have. I noticed many of you guys use quizzes, which is great. I have not spent a lot of time there. I'm planning on doing that this year. Kahoot, I use Kahoots a lot. I actually do not use Kahoots very much for like testing. Like if it's worth marks for me, I don't really use Kahoots for testing. Um, but maybe I should. I don't know. I use it a lot for just, filling time or as an assignment for kids to create review assignments for themselves, things like that. So anyway, I'm not an expert, that's for sure, on it, but it's definitely a wonderful tool. And whenever I do it with kids, they love it. So, and the nice thing is they can even use a smartphone or whatever have you. So that's kind of cool. I have my students do assignments with Quizlet.com. Are you guys familiar with Quizlet? Yes, no?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we use schools. Well,
So
yes, all the time.
yeah,
All the
particularly
time.
because, you can find the work that other people did and then you can, play learning games and things like that. So I try to have my students make them and then I ask them to share them with me and then I post them on my learning plan. But I don't spend time there. I get my kids to do that. But I do think it's a cool tool. Kids like it. And then I had planned on maybe spending a little bit of time on Jamboard if you guys wanted me to. But Jamboard, again, is pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of options. If you have a tablet, you have more options because then you can actually write on it. I think writing with a mouse is not very elegant and doesn't look very good. But as soon as you have a tablet and Jamboard, you can actually write with your own hand. My school bought me this one. This is definitely the one I recommend. I don't know if you can see that very well. This is what my school bought me, and my ministry whenever my ministry does something for free, I usually sign up. That's not coming up. This is my tablet. I don't know. My screen isn't working very well, right? My ministry decided to do a pilot project where they get an Apple TV and a tablet for you to play with and learn with. And, as God would have it, I signed up, I said yes. They took my ministry um, Chromebook away from me and I had to trade them. I couldn't do both. I had to do one or the other. So, and my school had a computer for me, so I did it. They gave me an Apple TV and then a tablet, and then I started teaching with it for about 3 or 4 months, hardly used it at all. And then the pandemic hit. And then all of a sudden I was online, and then the tablet became my best friend. I used it constantly in my teaching. You could share, um, your, your tablet screen with Google Meet. And so then I could literally write on things and kids were watching me do what I would normally do on a chalkboard or a marker board or whatever. And it became my marker board. And so I'm now a big fan of tablets and Google products. So I don't know if that's something your ministry will hopefully do for you guys at some point, like they did for mine. But tablets definitely open up a whole new world for possibilities. So, hey, I thought also about you guys. You guys are the experts over there. I thought about giving you guys an opportunity to do, to share with each other. This is a little, I just put it in the chat stream there. This is basically a Google form. I'm not, you guys taught me about live worksheets. I've never heard of live worksheets. Many of you guys linked them into your HyperDocs, which is awesome. And now this year, I'm gonna play with live worksheets. So by no means do I know everything. I know very little. The stuff that I use, I know well, whatever that is, right? So, maybe you guys can throw in here and help each other. What works for you guys here? That's the idea here. And you could share it with each other. And the beauty of this is I will right away share with you guys in the chat stream the results too. Um, these, who is it? Joan and Shilton had already shared with us two that they used a lot. And you guys could probably literally see as you guys, this is the Google Sheet that's attached to that Google form. And as you guys hit submit, it'll literally populate this sheet. And if you guys like, because I've linked this right into this slide, you guys have access to this information. So, whatever works for you guys, maybe you can help each other with some cool ideas. That said, I'm going to turn it over to you for 15 minutes, or maybe you guys want to have a 45-minute break. But it has been an absolute pleasure being here with you guys and doing this with you, and I've had a wonderful time. So at this point, what do you guys want to do? You guys are the bosses now, okay?
The
How do they
closing
call it when
ceremony is at 10:30, right?
Say again, Chantel?
I'm asking, the closing ceremony, is it at 10:30
No, it's actually at 11.
or 11?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think over there it is what, 9, 10, 15 right now? So
Yes.
yeah, I was going to give you guys at the very least a half an hour break. But if you want to take a break now, this will kind of be the official end of my time with you. I do want to say to you guys, I still have quite a few people who have not hit submit in some of their assignments. Turn it in is the button, turn in. So please.
Henry, are you
Okay.
dissolving the
Henry,
cabinet?
Say again?
Are you dissolving the cabinet
What do you mean
at
cabinet?
10:15? Usually when there's an election to be called, the prime minister will dissolve the cabinet. Is that what he
Oh.
does? And then he leaves his role and then he gives it over to
Yes.
the president, I suppose.
Yeah, I am officially dissolving this class. I am no longer in charge. Now you guys are in charge. I'm just here to help you at this point. So just make sure your assignments are signed in. And
Henry, one question
Sure.
concerning our Google website.
Okay.
We have to hand in the total thing today, right? In terms of the link and what.
Yes. Thank you for saying that out loud. Yes. And I guess you should have linked it already in there in day 2, right? So now you guys should go to day 2 and hit submit on that. Okay. After right this point, I'm hoping everything is hit submit, and I'll be spending probably the weekend marking everything and all that kind of stuff, right? So, but if you want to go and have a break until 11, I did share with you guys in an email, I believe, in the ministry, the phone number and all that stuff. It's also in this PowerPoint I shared with you guys on the Google, in my website. Hopefully everyone has figured out access and how to get there, that sort of thing. Thank you, Shilton. God bless you too. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, Emma, I don't know. Yeah, I'll certainly, what I tend to do is do that email thing, right? If I don't have it, but you guys should literally just go through each one of these assignments and just double check and make sure you hit submit. I think the quick way you can also do this is if you guys go to your, I think is it review here? Something like this. When you go to the review function, this is what I see as a teacher, but when you go here, you should see all the things you have not hit submit on, and you should go and clear that up. This is the to review, right? The reviewed is
Yeah,
the
it should
stuff you
still
already
be
done.
looking orange.
Yes, so go in here and make sure you've hit submit for everything. And when I say
If
hit
you do
submit,
it, it goes gray.
there's a few things where you were supposed to hit submit for that you had nothing to attach, but most things there is something you need to attach before you hit submit. So please do that. And then as you can see on my side, there's plenty of people who've turned things in. For example, even the Flipgrid video comments, by the way, this was one of the ones where there was, you just had to go to Flipgrid, do it, nothing to attach, but then you would just hit turn in, right? And I've already went in there and made comments to everybody in your Flipgrid, so good job. All right.
Sorry, I still haven't done the flip grid. I'll try to get it done. I'll get it done
Yeah.
today.
This is a weekend. I'll be probably going through all this stuff. So if you get it done today, I'm a happy guy. Okay.
Do we have to send in the Flipgrid? Or
You don't. There's nothing to attach. If you created that
okay.
video, just hit submit. You're done. Okay. All right. So that's probably my just last thing for you guys. Okay.
One more thing, Henry.
Sure.
I already submitted my Google site, but I made some changes and alterations. Will it still show for you, or do I have to unsubmit and share the link for the completed site again?
The short answer to that is if you shared to me like the viewable version of that, like
Uh-huh.
this is the viewable version. This is what's
Uh-huh.
online. If that's what you shared with me, as soon as you hit publish, it'll be updated, right?
Okay, then. All right.
If you
Okay.
shared the assignment with me and then hit, like if you shared the file that
No,
is
I
your
saw
site,
the link. The
perfect.
link.
Then you're good. Just hit
Okay.
publish and it'll update it and you're good to go.
Okay,
Okay.
then.
I see Hannel, you have your hand up?
Yes, I was going through my the assignments and I saw test nothing for you to do on it. About the rubric, we had an
Yeah,
assignment.
that is not an assignment. No,
Okay.
that was me
Or
just showing you how it works. No, there
okay,
is no
okay.
rubric assignment. Nothing that I did today is an assignment. No, no, no. Okay.
All right, just making sure.
Yeah, just everything
Mr.
before
Henry,
that.
All right.
Claire, or who's talking to
Mr.
me?
Henry,
Yes,
Simone.
Simone.
You sent a comment to me. Can I read it out loud?
Only if you want to.
Okay. You told me that I did not link in the hyperdoc into the assignment,
Okay.
and I
Um,
need to link my website.
do you want me to walk you through that?
Yes, please.
Sure. Do you want to share your screen, and I'll be happy to do that.
Sure.
Claire, do you got something real quick, or do you want to just wait till Simone's done?
Sorry, I didn't realize my hand was raised. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Mhm.
No worries. If you're good and you're caught up, feel free to go and have a break until 11 o'clock and you know, go with God. Okay? You guys have been fantastic. Don't feel like you have to stay at this point. I'm just here to help you. Okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you, Henry, again, once again.
Hey, see you later, guys. My pleasure.
And the connection for 10:30.
Yeah, sorry. It's 11. It starts at 11, right?
Yeah, for 11, the link.
I
So we
emailed
have,
it to everybody. So
okay,
everybody
thank
should
you.
have it in an email, and it's on my website on day 10, right? Go ahead, Simone, whenever you're
Yeah,
ready.
so I'm not sure what to do right now.
Okay, so um, why don't you go, let's do the hyperdoc first. Let's go to your actual hyperdoc.
My
Like,
hyperdoc.
yeah, like it may
Okay.
probably a choice board, whatever you chose to make for your hyperdoc. Maybe a learning
Oh,
plan, like the actual
okay.
assignment. It's probably in your drive.
We're looking right here.
Oh, perfect.
The teacher's one?
Yeah, the one you made. Yep.
Okay.
No, oh, not the one. Not the one that we made together. I mean the one you made for yourself, for your students. The one you linked into there. That's the one I mean. The one that's on your Google Drive. Because we want to find the link to publish to the web.
Okay.
There it is.
This one? This
Nope.
one?
Yeah, that one, the Bitmode. Or sorry. What did I email you? Maybe I'm getting a little confused. What did I email you again?
Day 4.
Is
That
it the
is
Bitmoji Classroom?
HyperDoc. Let me see. Let me take a look at
Okay,
it.
so yeah, we need the learning plan. That's right. So let's go back into the drive, not the Bitmoji. We need the learning plan that you created, right?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, I think. Maybe this one. Let me see. What did I do?
Yeah, that one. Simone, you have links to your website here. You have like 6 links to your website, but you don't have. Okay, so now that we have this, you could, now that I know what we're talking about, it's called Choice Board. Go to your Google Classroom. The day 4 there assignment on the tab above, you have it open already. There we go. Okay, so notice how you handed in all of those. Those are just links to your website. Why don't you hit unsubmit? And just X all of those out because I don't need any of those. Okay, and then go add, and then go Google Drive, and then recent. It probably should appear as the first one. There it is, Choice Board Practice. There it is, and then insert that. And then hit mark as done or turn in.
Oh, well, I misunderstood the stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your learning plan. Okay. And that's what I want to see there. And did you say there was another one that I asked about?
I just started to look at the comments.
Okay.
So that's the first one I saw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That appears for me now. Nadia, that you didn't have anything linked in there either.
Henry, I'm sorry. Could you give me the transparency site again?
Yes.
Thanks.
You mean the one that removes the background?
Yes, yes, sir.
I think it's remove.bg. Remove.bg. Put that into, yeah, there it is. That's what it is.
Okay.
There you go. It's in there. It's in the text stream. Okay. Is Nadia still in here? Hi, Nadia. Are you there? Okay, she walked away. She hasn't attached that one either into that assignment. Okay, if anybody needs help from me, I'm available. All right, if you guys are good.
Hello, Henry.
Yep.
Do I still have time to submit my work?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do that together right now?
Not right now. Let me just finish it up.
Sure. Emma, can I help you?
Are you hearing me?
Hi.
I sent a message. I said my choice board is showing me view only when I go on Google Drive.
I don't understand what you mean. I think your choice board is there, right, Emma? I think I have it. Let's double check here. Yeah, it's there, Emma. You're good.
Okay, but I went on my Google Drive and it shows me view only.
Yes, because you submitted it to me in Google
Oh, okay.
Classroom. Right? As soon
Oh,
as you hit submit, you can't make changes anymore. But it's
oh,
here. I see it. It
okay.
looks good. Hey, yeah, you did a good job. That looks really good.
Thank
What
you.
grade do you teach again?
Well, I was in grade one, but just for 4 months. When I told you I started for 4 months. No.
Yeah, this looks really good. I like what you've done here. Your kids will definitely have an easy time navigating this. Oh, and I like your Bitmoji, your Bitmoji, you know,
Thank you.
gifts that you pulled in there. Your kids are gonna love that. Yeah, that looks really good. Yeah, you're showing a lot of skill here, Emma. Good job. Good
Thank you.
job. Okay, I think those are was there anything else I could help you with?
I think I did. I submitted all, I hope.
Okay, great. I believe you. I believe you.
So, yes, you'll send an email if I did not submit anything.
Yeah, I'll send an email if you didn't. Okay. One thing's for sure, I love that little hot dog and then to review option, and then you can see a list of anything you didn't hit submit on, right? So definitely use that tool. Teach your kids about it.
Okay.
Hey,
I
good morning.
Hi,
put it at
Imelda.
the school now, so I'll be back.
Okay.
I submitted my Bitmoji classroom and I'm seeing here that it's not submitted.
Okay.
That is missing.
So
Could you
let's
check?
sure. Yeah, the day 4. Imelda. I think you hit submit. There it is. Yeah, when I was marking them during the week, it wasn't in there then, but it is in there now. So you're good to go. I'll go through and mark that for you. Okay?
Okay, so everything else is in, I would guess.
Yeah, just go to that hot dogs. Do you know what I'm talking about? I call it a hot dog because it looks like a hot dog. This hot dog on the top right-hand part of your screen, it has 3 lines, whatever you call it. I call it the hot dog because it looks like a bun and a hot dog in the middle. Go to review, whatever choice that is, and then look at this list, right? And if you've turned everything in, you're good. Okay. Shinda, are you ready?
It doesn't show me to review in mine though.
Say again, Emma. I didn't quite catch that.
I don't see to review in mine when I click the hot
So
dog
you
or whatever you call it.
so you're good? Awesome. It's a little bit harder for me in my end to look in and out of every single one. And I can make mistakes, that's for sure. Shinda.
Yes, would you like me to share my screen so you can
Sure,
see
that'd
where
be great.
I'm at? Okay.
Sure.
All right. Ah. No. Is it showing?
Not yet. Okay, I'm
Oh,
going.
as a student of Mr. Henry's class, you would have